Hello, my friends. This is Bobby D coming to you live from the Lambon, Cebu, Philippines. Having an awesome time in the Philippines today. Hope you are as well. Wherever you're from. Hey, today we're going to talk to you about Veterans Affairs issues from the Philippines. Veterans Affairs and issues from the Philippines. Yeah. Woo! What a joy, such a joy to come back to you again, my friends. And today I want to say for those of you here for the first time, you click on the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you continue to see me fresh new Philippine videos, motivational videos, and worldwide videos. Now, today is a very special day. We're going to have our guest from Markell's TV, which is Markell Wingfield, will be coming in shortly. And today we're going to talk about veterans. Yeah, this is a day we devote once a month to best people in the world, which is our veterans of the United States of America. Okay, yeah, I'm talking about American veterans. I'm not talking about Filipino veterans. I mean, they're okay. But I'm from America, man. I put America first, okay? You know, that's where I came from. So we're talking about American veterans issues and concerns. And we try to drive that home once a month on a monthly basis because veterans, truth be told, never get their fair share. And a lot of them don't know how. And a lot of them are frustrated, living lives in silence of frustration because they come home from the war, whatever they came from in the military, they have one mindset, and they come back home, they got to get a civilian mindset. That's a big adjustment. I can tell you, I'm a veteran. I know it's a big adjustment. Some people say, well, he just got off, he's got the military, he all right. No, he may not be all right, depending on what he went through, depending on what he had to deal with during his military service. He may not, there may be some issues. I mean, if you recall, very recently, there was an issue with Iraq, and some of the military people there in the USA, veterans or military men, were what? Bombed, okay, in Iraq by Iran. And it turns out, initially we thought that nobody was hurt, no injuries, that kind of stuff. But then, guess what? We found out that over several military men were hurt. And what kind? They didn't get bombed or hurt, blown up and all like that, but they got traumatic mental illness, trauma to the brain, concussions. You know, like football players, when they play, somebody say, boom, they get tackled real hard, and sometimes they get hit to the head, neck, injuries like that. Those are traumatic injuries, okay? Those are traumatic illnesses. And that's what these guys succumbed to when they were targeted by the bombs by Iraq, okay, by Iran, okay? And so military men, a lot of them walk around today, right now. They used to call it, back in the day when I was coming up, they say, well, he's shell shocked. He's shell shocked. Hey, that ain't no such thing as shell shock. He messed up in the mind because of the concussion from the bomb blast. You know, when a bomb blows up, there's a blast. And that force of energy and power, shocks hit you like somebody knocking you out. And when it hits, sometimes it hits your head, the neck area, and it causes a concussion. And a lot of people can't see it because it's on the inside of that man. They may have a huge headache. That's one sign. They may have blurred vision. That's another sign. And their speech might be blurred. And when you ask them a question, you say, like when you get hit on a football field, what do they do? Coach come by and say, how many fingers you see? How many fingers you see, Bobby? How many fingers? I say, I don't see no fingers. And you know, I got a problem. I was concussed, okay? And that's what happened. They go to take these guys to the doctor, the medics, and they check them out, put them on a scan. I said, man, you got a concussion. The man can't hardly think, can't hardly see. And those are injuries that sometimes, guys, if you get them repeatedly over and over again, they can have a long-term negative effect. Nobody really knows because it hasn't been studied that long. You know, a lot of footballs, that's why you see a lot of footballs getting a little, boom, bang to the bang, shooting people, all kind of crazy because they were concussed over and over and over. And people say, oh, he just got his bell ring. No, there ain't no such thing as no bell ring, man. He got concussion. Stop talking about bell ring and stuff. Say he was concussed. That's the word. Post-traumatic trauma, concussion. That's what you need to look at. Okay, I got Markell. So we're going to get Markell. I'm going to introduce you to him. Hold on, let me get my see. Markell, you right now?
Hey, how you doing? How's it going?
Good to see you, man. Always good to see you. We got Markell from Markell's TV on the air with us today, live interview. You know, this is our monthly interview session. We try to lift up our military personnel. Markell is the right man for the job, bang, bang. So, first of all, I was just talking to the people, Markell, about the concussions and how people get hurt in the head. They're not like blown up or shot in the head, but there's a force that causes them to have a concussion. And sometimes people don't understand that. Could you explain that process? Well, first of all, let me introduce Markell. Markell has Markell's TV. Okay, for those of you who don't know it, it's on YouTube. He also have Markell's TV on Instagram and other social medias. For those of you that aren't aware of his channel, I highly recommend you check out his channel. Most of all, he services veterans, and he services he has shows and programs on electronics, travel, a whole variety of other issues, but his main focus is veterans issues and affairs. That's why we have Markell. He's a close person to this channel. He supports our channel, we support his channel, and we work together very close. Once a month, at the end of the month, we will put Markell on this show because I have a lot of veterans tune into this show every day. And I don't have all the answers. You know, I know I can give you some. Markell's taught me a lot. I can give you a few, but I have to go to the expert. He knows more about it than me. Okay? So that's my introduction to Markell. For those of you who don't know, he has a very great academic background. He don't like to bring it up there, but he got 2 degrees, man. 2. Like yours truly. Hey, you got that? We don't act like we educated fool. We act like we educated men. Okay, we ain't crazy now, but we got common sense. Right? We treat people common sense. Just because you got a degree don't mean you look down, and we don't. We treat you like you're just a regular person like us. Okay, so I've given you a brief introduction to Markell, and Markell, if anything else you want to bring out, you can go ahead and do it now.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed you. Say that one more time.
I gave them a brief introduction of who you are, what you're about, because some people don't know you. But for those that don't know you, I gave them that brief introduction. If anything else I left out or you want to talk about, you're welcome to do it.
No, it's just that the only thing that's new with me is I decided that I'm going to move to Medellin, Colombia full time.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be my new home.
Okay.
And I'm just going to come back to the States maybe once every 6 months for about a week just to check on my little place I keep here.
Right.
Check on my vehicle, and then go right back to Colombia. I made the decision, man, that I truly miss being in Colombia this month that I've been here in the States. I still love the U.S. I don't have a problem being in the U.S. I love seeing my family and friends, but it's just different. You know, when you've been somewhere for a while and then you travel back to the U.S., it's different. It's just not the same. And home for me is Colombia. So that's really where I want to be.
I hear you, man. I understand. Every time I go back to the U.S., I can stay there for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'm like, I got to go. My home is the Philippines. You know, I understand what you're saying. Once you get used to a different lifestyle and you're happy where you are, it's hard to make the transition backwards in life. It really is. So I commend you. Congrats, man. That's a great decision.
I appreciate that.
And you're going to
be. So I heard a little bit of your discussion. Excuse me, where you were talking about PTSD, head trauma, shell shock. That's like an old term. I mean, you hear people used to say that all the time. How people were shell shocked. And as a kid, I would hear that, and I never understood what that meant. Right. But since my time in the military and talking to other veterans, it's a real thing. You know, there are some people where IEDs blew up on the side of the road, may have taken out their vehicle, may have taken out some of their friends. Mm-hmm. And here you get that pressure from that explosion. It hits you. It's like somebody pounding you in the head. You know, some people are blacked out. Some people lose their hearing. They're bleeding from the ears. Some people bleed from their eyes. It's a real thing. And it's something that sometimes it takes people a long time to get over, and some people never recover from it. Never. It's stuck with them for the rest of their life, and they don't know how to move on. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important to understand that when you're dealing with someone with PTSD or you're dealing with someone who has mental problems in general, you know, it's one of those things, Mr. Dix, where you can't see what's inside of someone's head. So people assume that they're faking, that they're okay. But in actuality, they're not. You know, most people, they have to see disabilities in order to understand them.
Exactly.
They can't see it. You know, a person's mind, they don't get it. They don't understand that. Okay. So it's one of those things that a lot of veterans deal with.
Yeah. Those are internal injuries. Internal injuries, they can't be seen on the outside. So it looks like you're all right, but you're really not all right. And
no,
it's hard sometimes for veterans to communicate that to people. Because you can say, I got an injury. You look fine to me. Yeah, but I'm hurt on the inside. You can't see it. They still don't get it. You know, and that's one of the things that veterans face that have been injured with traumatic concussions every day. And people need to understand that. And that's why I wanted to bring that up, so we can let people know what's happening out there to some of our veterans when they get injured, just as some of our military men were injured in Iran or Iraq recently at the bases. So, Markell, I got a question. I got one question from my one of my subscribers. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. It may be hard to read because I had pixelated on this. I'm gonna try to read it for you. Hold up. Start this off. Okay, I know it's gonna be hard for y'all to read, so I'm gonna read it for you. This is a question that I got from Joe Hewitt. He's one of our subscribers about a week ago. I just went through all my messages or my comments, and this is one he said. He says, I'm trying to go to the Philippines on long-term tourist visa. I'm receiving veterans disability pay of 50%. Okay. My stateside VA hospital provider says they don't recognize the VA clinic in Manila, Philippines, to schedule my annual checkup appointments. Am I understanding this correctly? So we got this guy named Joe Hewitt. He's one of my subscribers. He's getting 50% disability. His VA hospital provider said that the Manila clinic does not recognize his ability or his disability information benefits to schedule his annual checkup appointment. So, what would you say to Joe if you have any information on that?
Okay, so is he in Manila right now?
To my knowledge, no, I haven't. I don't think so. He's on the way. He's scheduling a long-term view. He's scheduling a visit.
So even though there's a VA facility from the U.S. in the Philippines, okay,
right,
that facility basically only operates this way, which is the same rules as the foreign medical program. Okay, they're only going to see you for service-connected disabilities. Now they may service some things outside of that, but primarily, if you go to their own website at the VA, if you go to the VA's website, va.gov, okay, you put in the VA facility in Manila, okay, it's going to explain to you, it's basically the same as the foreign medical program. They're only going to see you primarily. Now, there are going to be some exceptions to this, but they're only going to see you primarily for what you're service connected for. So your annual checkup is not something that you're service connected for. All right. For that, they'll have to pay for that on their own, whatever country that they're in. If you need to do an annual checkup, if you're outside the U.S. territories, and you have to get this done to turn that paperwork in, an annual checkup, that's going to be something you're going to have to pay for out of pocket in Manila, in most cases. Now, there are some exceptions, as everything, to that rule. You can call the VA and let them know, hey, I don't have the money. I can't afford it. They may be able to set it up that way because that's indigent circumstances. That's totally different. But if you're overseas, these are things you guys need to understand when you're overseas. And some of your subscribers who are going to the VA in Manila, notice when you go to that VA in Manila, they're primarily going to see you just for what you're service connected for. So if you only have PTSD, but you got a problem with your leg, they may see you and they're probably going to bill you if they don't send you somewhere else to say we can't do anything for you. You're going to have to go over here and get seen. Okay. but it's primarily for service-connected disabilities. It's not just for anything. That's only in the U.S. and U.S. territories where you can go to a VA facility. Doesn't matter what you're going for, especially if you're service connected. They don't care what you're going for. They're going to treat you. But when you're overseas, that's a whole different deal.
Okay, I got it. That's very good information because I've never used a VA. I'm a veteran, but I never used a VA facility. So then if I went to the VA in Manila myself for a non-service connected, they shut me out. They said, shut me down. I said, look, we can't handle you, sir. You just get out because I'm not
well, like I said, they may attempt to help you, but they're going to bill you for it because it's not something that's service connected.
I hear you. I don't want no surprises. I can deal with it myself. So you answered Joe's question. More than likely, he will have to pay out of pocket for that annual checkup that he's talking about, unless it is service connected. Got it. So Joe, if you're listening, that's your answer to your question. I will also respond to you on a written basis as well. So tell me about your service. I mean, I understand you was in service for 10 years. Tell me a little bit about what you did in the service, in your military. What was your MOS?
Okay, so I had 2 MOSs. I was a 62 Juliet, which is a heavy equipment operator. Okay. Cranes, bulldozers, backhoes, right. You name it. I mean, we pretty much did it all with that. And then my other one was a 88 Mike, which is a truck driver. Okay. So I drove around the base. I delivered beer to some of the what do you call them? The little stores right there. What the hell they call them?
Canteen. No, it's not canteen.
I can't think of the name of it.
Commissary exchanges.
The commissary.
Yeah, commissary. Right.
Yeah. You remember those little cans, the black and white cans that just said beer on them?
Yeah.
That used to be. I delivered a lot of those also.
All right, I got you. So you did that for a while.
Right.
Your time in the military, how was that for you? Was it a good time? Was it you just something to do time? Or did you feel motivated to get into the military? How did that come about?
Okay, so basically, I'm from a small town in Alabama, right?
Okay.
And there was only a few ways to get out of situations like that, like most of us have been in. You either had to have a scholarship for either education or sports, or you joined the military to get the hell out, and that would pay for college. That was basically the 3 ways down south that we pretty much knew of. You either were great enough to play sports, your education was great, or you joined the military, right? Okay. So I ended up joining the military when I was a junior in high school. I went on what they called back then split training. So my senior year, I went to basic training in Fort Dix, New Jersey, when that base was still open. At 17, scared to death, didn't know what to expect. You know, my first experience, and this was the first time I had been outside of the state of Alabama. Had never been on an airplane before. Wow. So they flew me from Birmingham, Alabama to Fort Dix, New Jersey. Didn't know what to expect, man, just thrown into the fight. So that was my start of my military career right there. So after basic, I go back, finish school, then go back into the military for AIT and become permanent party at that point.
Wow. So I didn't know they had a split. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had a split. I did not know that. That was similar to what I did, but I did mine after high school. After I graduated high school, I went up. But I served at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Carolina, yeah.
But yeah, man, that's very interesting. So you stayed in there for 10 years, and tell me about your most significant experience in your military service. And did you go, and where did you serve? Did you have just one place? Like I was just one place. Where did you serve as far as transferring from here to there to there to there and stuff like that?
Let's see. So AIT was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Okay.
And then I went to God, I can't think of it now. It's it's in Augusta, Georgia. What the hell is it called? Where jump school is, because I thought I wanted to go to jump school. And I went there for a little while. I tried it, but that wasn't for me. When we got to that last tower, I quit. I can't think of the name of that base, but it's close to Augusta, Georgia. Not Augusta. Not Augusta. It's right on the Alabama border. It's like Alabama's here, Georgia's here, and there's a base. Fort. God, it's Columbus, Georgia.
Columbus, Georgia. Fort Benning, probably. I don't know. It may be Fort Benning.
Is it Fort Benning? Yeah, it is. It's Fort Benning. I was at Fort Benning for a while.
Right.
And then right around that time, about a year in, we ended up going to Iraq. The first time around with Bush Sr., right? Let me say this real quick. For you guys that went during that time period, which would have been 1990 to like 1993.
Right.
There's a new VA claim that you can put in for expulsion to whatever chemicals were out there if you're experiencing any problems. Okay, that's a claim that you can file if you were in during that period that a lot of veterans don't know about. There were chemicals out there during the time we were there. Okay. And we did get exposed to them. Now, some people are showing signs, from being exposed, and some people like myself, there were no, I didn't have anything going on with me, but if you were in during that period, you can file a claim for expulsion if you're showing signs of having problems. Like respiration is one. I can't remember them all, but I was going to do a video on that coming up later this month, or excuse me, next month.
Okay. All right. So people that have been exposed to that and during that period of time, they can claim something, but they have to show the symptoms and they have to be measured by a doctor.
Correct. All right. Correct. Because if that was the case, everybody that went over there would just file a claim. So, you need to be showing signs that you have whatever it is.
Okay. What are the most common VA disability claims that show up over and over again? Some of the most common ones.
The most common ones are PTSD. Would be a recent common one. Plantar fasciitis from those bad boots they used to make us wear. If you got a lot of foot and ankle problems, that's one that's pretty common. Back problems and tendonitis is another one. For the guys that were on those ships, when they were firing those cannons on the ship, tendonitis, off balance, can't keep your balance, your equilibrium's off. That's from all of that. If you mortar, you around a lot of mortar fire, even though you had those headphones on, and there is a lawsuit for the 3Ms that a lot of people wore because they weren't that good. That's another one. But the most common one out of all right now, I would say, is PTSD, sleep apnea, plantar fasciitis, and usually something with respiration.
Okay. What about, you mentioned tinnitus, plantar fasciitis, stuff like that. Would those could be considered for 100% disability or partial disability? How would that work?
Okay, well, PTSD depends on how bad your PTSD is. I mean, you can go anywhere from 10% all the way to 100% with PTSD. Okay. Pretty much with plantar fasciitis, which is pretty bad. Anybody that has it, because I have it in both feet, you can get anywhere from a 0% rating, which means you have a mild case of it, all the way up to a 50% rating, which is like extreme, where you can't even wear shoes. You basically riding around in either a scooter or a wheelchair because you can't stand to be on your feet. Yeah. There's a different range, but other than PTSD with the respiration, it just depends on what kind of problems you have, like a heart disease or congested heart disease, something like that will get you 100%. All the other ones, you're going to fall anywhere from 0 to about 50%.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. What if you're a veteran? You got out, you didn't notice any problems when you got out. You're like, okay, I'm glad to get out. I'm gone. 2, 3, 5 years down the line, you wind up having a problem with your feet. You wind up problem with your knees. You wind up having a problem with your elbow. And you say, man, and you don't have no insurance. And you go to the VA. What are your chances of them helping you if they say if it may not be surface connected? How do you prove that it's surface connected? And they say it's not, how would they help you in that?
Well, So let's start with the beginning. So if someone just comes off the street that says, I'm a veteran, I served at such and such period, right? And I came here because I need to get help with my feet. My feet are killing me. Okay. Right. So the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to take you to intake, right, at the hospital. They're going to try to get all your info and see if they can pull it up right there, that you're actually who you say you are. Mm-hmm. Now, if they can't right then and there, a lot of times it depends on the hospital and their policy, because each hospital is different, all right? From state to state, they're different. But under normal circumstances, they will still see you based upon what you said. They're going to send your information to the comp and pen department to verify who you are, if you got to come back or not. Once they do that, they're going to put in a claim for you for whatever you said was going on with you. And until they make a decision on that claim, you can go back and forth and be seen at the VA for that issue until the decision is made. Yeah. So a decision is either going to be made that you are granted a service connection, or they're going to say, okay, you weren't granted a service connection. If you come back again, we have to bill you for this. Okay. That's basically how that works at that point.
Okay, so they might still see you, whether it's service connected or not, until the claim has been decided. But
correct, they're going to see you for that issue only. They're not going to see you for everything. Okay. Whatever you claimed that you said was an issue in service is what they're going to see you for. It's only when you get up to 50% or higher that you can go to the VA and get seen for anything. It doesn't matter what you get seen for at that point. Oh, okay. But prior to that, when you're just filing, you can only be seen for what you're being filed for, what you filed for.
Okay, that's good information. So you can be seen for what you're filing for. If they say it's negative, no, then they send you a bill for that. Correct.
Correct.
All right, gotcha. That's good information. All right, so if they deny your claim, you've been hurt and whatever, and they said, "No, we can't accept this. You're denied." What are your rights after denial?
You can appeal. You can file an appeal. There's now 3 different levels of appeals, and then there's also the board after that. So the way they have it set up now, they kind of changed the rules a little bit, and I got a couple videos explaining. If I went through all that, Mr. Dix, we'd be here for 3 hours. But let me just put it to you this way. I'll put it to you this way. When you get denied, they give you 3 different options, okay? You basically got to read the options and pick the one that best fits you. There's an option that fast tracks it where they'll put it right back in and try to get you another decision right away. There's another one where it kind of goes through the old process. And then there's a new one where you can't really add any evidence or do anything. It's just the way it is, and they make a decision. Now, if none of those work, your next step is to go to the board. And again, there's 3 different levels to the board. You know, you can do a video conference. You can go to DC and do it. They have a travel board that comes to your city or your VA at certain periods of time. So there's different ways to do it, but it's kind of like Social Security. You have your initial claim, right? If you get denied, you can appeal. If that doesn't work, you can go to a board. A board is like a judge, just like with Social Security. There's 3 different levels. The VA has 3 different levels, just like that.
Okay, so once you've exhausted those 3 different levels, that's it, right? Once you've exhausted,
once you exhaust those 3 different levels and it's not done, right? And they said, nope, we don't believe it. You can go back and refile again, start it all over again. But the thing about it though is you want to add new evidence. You want to add things to it that's not there to prove it. The biggest problem people have when it comes to the VA, when it comes to getting an approval with the VA, is medical evidence. Okay. Sometimes people think that one x-ray that may say something that they said is enough. Okay, well, I got the x-ray. That's good enough. No. The way the VA system works is you need a lot of medical evidence and you need follow-up. For example, plantar fasciitis. The doctor says you have plantar fasciitis. Great. I'm going to go file a claim. But what did you do after that? Where's the follow-up? Did they give you any medication? Did they put you on a treatment regimen? Are you going to physical therapy? Are any of those things happening other than the doctor said you have plantar fasciitis? Right. And if none of those things have transpired, the VA is going to look at that and say, okay, well, the doctor says you have it, but how are you treating it? What are you doing to make it better? How are you doing to stabilize? You doing anything? And that's where a lot of times people fail, especially when they have private doctors and the private doctor writes a statement, but the doctor doesn't follow through with the statement. Now the veteran's stuck. You understand what I'm saying? You need medical evidence to prove what you're saying. You just can't say, well, you have this, but you don't do anything else after that. You just riding with that one letter, and that's not enough.
Okay. How can you prove that you have an illness after you've got out of the military? You have an illness. You're saying my illness is due to military service. When the doctor's saying you have this illness, I don't know where it came from, but you saying it's because I was in the military. How does one prove that? Like for example, you got stress, or you got high blood, or you got a heart condition, and it just showed up after you got out of the military because of your years of stress and stress. You feel it was a military. What's your best bet on proving that? Because a lot of people in that position, they got an illness. They've been out of the military 5, 6 years, and all of a sudden they got this illness, and they say, I know it's because I was in the military. How do they go about proving that?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with someone who did 20 years in the military, okay, and got out. So say someone was in the military for 20 years, all right, and they went to see a doctor and did all those things prior, right, before they got out. So a lot of times the things that they're saying, there's a medical connection to it somewhere. So if you were in the military, just the same way with you sprained your ankle, you broke your leg, you hurt your back, all that is documented medical records, okay? The way the military works now versus then is now when you get ready to get out, they have different classes and stations that these soldiers got to go through where they have to talk about each one of these things. But for the older generation that was back in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 60s, that's want to file a claim now, your medical records are now digital. They're not in paper anymore, okay? And if you don't have a copy of them, you can get a copy through Missouri. I forgot the name of the facility, but there's a spot where you can get all of your old military records. You can get your badges, you can get all your awards, all that, including your entire military file, medical records and all, for free. Now you can go to the VA and they can put in a letter for you to get it. However, the thing about it is, though, there had to have been some kind of event or something that happened to you in service, all right? Okay. It's going to be very hard if you just went through service, nothing never happened to you, you get out, and then you go, okay, well, I hurt my back in service. Okay, where did it happen? Where did it happen? When did it happen? Who did you tell? Because if you didn't tell anybody, there's no record of it anywhere. I'm not saying that it's impossible, because you can always get buddy statements that somebody was around that saw it, you know, you told your commander or you told somebody that could verify that it happened. That's one thing. But if you just kept this secret the entire time you were there, you didn't tell anybody anything, that's going to be very hard to prove. Right.
So basically, they're going to think you're trying to commit some type of fraud. You're trying to be fraud.
Correct. Because most of the time, I'll be honest with you, most of the time when an injury occurs in service, somebody knows, okay? It's not like you're going to get away. If you hurt your knee in service, people know it. Trust me, because you out there limping, moving around, you get not to say, and they're going to send you to see a doctor. Yeah.
So you have some type of medical record to back up your claim. You would have to produce some type of medical record for them to seriously consider your claim. I got you. All right.
Correct.
Anyway, there's a lot of good information there, Markell. I'm going to open it up to we got a few viewers here today. And go around the train, ask Markell questions as well. Hold on, let me get this pulled up here real quick. All right, who we got first man up? Riding Love Train with Bobby D, Lisa D, and Markell today. We got hold on. Gabby B said my dad 110%. Okay, Gabby. He said his dad is 110%. How could you be over 100%, Markell? Disability.
110%?
That's what he said. My dad.
Well, that's using regular math, I'm assuming, because you can only be 100% now under VA math. I'm gonna try to explain VA math to you, Mr. Dix, this way, okay? So say you have 50% for your back, say you have 30% for your knee, and let's say you have another 20% for your shoulder. Okay? So back, knee, and shoulder. Here's how VA math works. Picture a pie chart. Okay. Now you have 100% of the pie chart. Your first rating, they always use your largest rating, which is 50%. So you're taking 50% of the pie, right? So you have 50. Now here's how VA math works that's different from regular math. Your next largest rating is 30%, right? You have 50% of the pie. Well, you're only going to get 30% of the remaining 50%, which is how much?
80.
That's 15. That's added to 50. So now you at 65, which is 70.
Okay.
So now there's 30% of the pie left, right?
Right.
You're at 70. There's 30% of the pie left. Well, now you got 20% for your shoulder. Right. So you're going to take 20% of the remaining 30%, which is how much? 6. So now you're at 76%, which is 80. You still have 20% of the pie remaining. Under regular math, that's 100%. Yeah. Under VA math, that's 80%.
Wow.
Hopefully you follow that.
I followed a little bit, but you got me a little confused. But I understand it's a little bit different. VA math and regular math is different. They have a different formula to compute your claims. I got it. Okay, so that's
correct. Because me under regular math, I'm like 230 or 240% under regular math.
So you maxing
under
out.
VA math, I'm like 99%.
Yeah, so you almost maxing out on VA math, almost 100% on everything. Okay, I got you. That's good, man. You're doing all right for yourself, but because you know the rules and you know what you should be getting, which a lot of people don't. That's why we're here talking today, letting people that don't know that they have options. And when you have options, that's the best thing to have because you have a lot of availability things you can do, not just one. You're not limited. Okay. So what else we got? Riding Love Train. John Thomas, he says, good morning, Bobby D. What's up, John? You all right? Good to see you, man. Riding Love Train with Bobby D. What's up? You good? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Riding Love Train with Bobby D and Markell. Shell back. What's up, Shell? Hadn't seen you in a while. You okay? Good to see you, man. Riding Love Train. Bobby D and Lisa D and Markell in his house. Gabby G, what's up, man? They should have a program where the veterans can go to the Philippines without passport or visa. Okay. They have a lot of incentives for the veterans here in the Philippines, but you have to have a passport. That's number one. You got to have a passport. I don't care where you go, man, because there's so many terrorists going around. They have to identify you. You just can't say, I'm a veteran and show your VA card and you think they're going to let you in. No, you got to have a passport to verify yourself. Everybody has to be what? Vetted. V-E-T-T-E-D. Vetted. They have to find out your background before they let you in. So I can see maybe with a visa part of it, but you have to have the passport. Okay. Right, I love Train with Bobby D and Lisa D. Shellback. The number one thing to understand is the VA is not your friend in regard to your claim. What are your opinions on that, Markell? He said the VA is not your friend when you got a claim.
Wait, say that one. Your VA is not your friend when you have a claim?
He says the number one thing to understand is that the Veterans Administration is not your friend in regard to your claim. When you got a claim, don't think the VA gonna be your friend. That's what he said.
Well, that's one way to look at it. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're gonna go out of their way to make sure you have whatever it is. Okay, some of that responsibility falls on the veteran. Now, you can't just present somebody with something and say, here's this. Now give me my rating. Well, if you don't have all the evidence, if it's incomplete, how's that on the rater? You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. Mr. Dix, if we worked in an office and I just gave you one letter when you needed a book, what would you tell me? You understand what I'm saying? You can't just present a piece of something. You need to present it all. And that's what happens a lot of times. There's a lot of confusion about how the VA system actually works. A lot of times when veterans are trying to file a claim and they don't have medical evidence or they don't have a nexus, you also need what's called a nexus letter. Something that ties whatever happened to you in service to what's going on with you now. Okay, that's another way you get service connection. But the letter alone is not enough. You still need X-rays, MRI, something that proves what you're saying. So it's not just, here's this, now give me my rating. No, there's a lot of follow-up that goes up. There's a lot of medical evidence that goes in there. There are sometimes things are just obvious. If somebody has, you know, a missing limb and it happened in service and it's documented in service, well, obviously that's a no-brainer.
Right.
But if you're telling me you got back issues and they're severely hurting you, but you have no medical evidence and no doctor is agreeing with what you're saying, you got a fight on your hand, because you need the doctor to agree with what you're saying. They're not going to just take your word for it. They need medical evidence to see what you're saying.
Right. I understand, and it's required because anybody can come and say, well, I had an injury, and you don't have no proof. They can't just give you money like that. You got to have proof to back up your claim. I understand. It makes perfectly good sense. And as taxpayers, we want to make sure taxpayer money is going to the right people for the right services, because it could be somebody with a legitimate claim and you with an illegitimate claim taking his money from somebody that's legitimate. And we don't want that. We want it going to the right people that are due the right amount of money. Okay. Well, we got Riding Love Train with Bobby D and Lisa D. We got John Thomas, got him. Shellback checking in. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, Shellback Riding the Train. Gabby G, they should be okay. I got that one already. Got that one. All right, Riding Love Train, Bobby D and Lisa D. Bobby D 22. What's up, man? We doing good, Eddie. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Me, Markell, Riding Love Train today. Eddie Jackson. Hey, Markell. Say welcome.
Hey, Mr. Jackson, how you doing?
Good to see you, Mark. Good to see you, Eddie. Big Bear, love you. Love, but to have to prove nexus. Oh, see, for you have to prove nexus. Okay, that's what he was saying. You have to prove nexus. In other words, you have to verify what you're saying is correct in order to get nexus. Is that what he's saying? I'm not sure. Is that right, Markell? He said you have
that's that nexus letter I was talking about earlier, where you know, you need something that proves, that ties whatever your service is to what's currently going on with you. Normally that's going to come from your doctor, from x-rays, MRIs, things like that, to prove whatever happened to you in service is still what's going on with you right now. This is why either you can't work a job or whatever the case may be, if you're filing for TDIU or whatever it is, that's how you tie it all together.
Okay, and that's what he said. Big Bear says, Big Bear Life says, nexus letter from a civilian doctor. Okay, what about, can you get a nexus letter from a military doctor?
From a civilian doctor?
Oh, can you get one from a military doctor? Or nexus is only for civilians, or is it for military doctors as well? Like if you're in the military,
well, when you say military doctor, that military doctor is someone who's still in. Civilian doctor is a private doctor, and then you have your VA doctor. So you can get a nexus letter from a civilian doctor, as long as you have follow-up evidence to go with it. You can't just have one letter, like I said, and think that's going to do it. You need more medical evidence than that. But you can get it from a civilian doctor. Your VA doctor can provide it. But now when you're in service, that's totally different, because you're saying military doctor, that's in service. You're talking about when you get out of service. You're talking about civilian doctor, and you're talking about a VA doctor, which is basically a civilian doctor also.
That's what I mean. Right. Okay. I got you. Good information, man. Good clearing it up. All right, what's what we got next? Riding Love Train. He said, Big Bear Life, what's up, man? He said, Bobby D, can you see me? Oh, man, I can't see you. Can you see me? We see each other. Now, the way it's set up, Big Bear, I can see, you can see me, but I actually physically cannot see. You can see me, you can see Markell, you can be anything I put on this on my screen, okay? But I cannot see you. I can only see your avatar, which is your picture. That's all I can see, okay? I can't see in your house, so don't think I'm trying to spy on you. You can see in my house, though. You can see me.
Military hospital.
But yeah, I can't see you, man. All right, Riding Love Train with Bobby D. Lizzie. He's a big bear. Get an extra letter. We already got that. All right. My road trip. He said, "Hello, Bobby D. Markell. Do you know if retired military members can use military hospitals on a space availability, especially overseas?"
That is a great question. From my understanding, if you're a military retiree, yes, you should be able to go on base on any military base, and you should be able to get hospital care if you're there on base, especially for retirees. Now, as a disabled veteran, Depends on the circumstances. If there's no other facility around for you to go to, they should be able to take you. But especially if you're a military retiree, that should not be a problem.
Okay, so there you have it. My road trip. If you're a military retiree, you should have no trouble getting a space there. Okay, overseas. So don't let that stop you from going overseas. If you're a military retiree, you got some definite medical needs, whatever needs are, you should be fine if there's a facility there available for you. Big Bear license. How can you get combined rate of 100% or more change to permanent and total? How can you get a combined rate of 100% or more change to permanent and total?
Okay, so for this one, you need time behind you. So say that you filed, the VA gave you a combined or single rating of 100% without permanent and total status. Permanent and total status basically means that your disabilities are not expected to improve at any point in time during your lifetime. And it also gives you some other benefits for being permanent and total, like your dependents get the educational benefits, your wife get the educational benefits. There's a lot more that goes into PNT. But how do you get it changed? If you've had that 100% rating for 5 years or longer, okay, you can apply for PNT status. You do not have to wait for the VA to give it to you. You can apply and simply say, look, I've had this rating for 5 years or longer, however you've had it, okay? It has not improved. It's been the exact same, and you can apply, okay? Do not wait for the VA to give it to you. The VA doesn't. They can sit there. They got all the time in the world. They don't have to give it to you. It's upon yourself. There are sometimes, veterans have to take the initiative to get these things that they want. You can't wait for the VA to do it. You got to take the initiative to do it yourself. But in this case, you really need time. You need a minimum of 5 years. And then 5 years or longer, go apply for PNT status and see what they tell you.
Okay. I've had people say, well, VA ain't doing nothing for me. They deny my claim, and they want to get a lawyer. How effective are lawyers in terms of getting a VA claim process for a veteran?
There are some lawyers that are very effective, but again, it goes back to what evidence do you have? Like, I'll use the Social Security analogy again. When you go to a Social Security lawyer and you have good medical evidence, they're going to do everything they can to get you to sign that day because they know this is a winner. Take that scenario and flip it around. You got kind of shaky evidence. It doesn't really look that good. We'll take it, but we want a retainer, or we want you to sign this that says if we do get it, we want more than the normal percentage that we would get from someone else. It works the same way with a VA lawyer. When you go to a VA lawyer, they're going to look at your medical evidence. And if you have something that looks like it may get you a service connection, which sometimes it only gets you 10%, sometimes it might get you a 0% service connected rating, but it got you connected. In those instances, they're going to want to charge you up front. That's how you can tell the difference. When you have a great claim, they're going to tell you, oh, okay, well, when you get paid, we get paid. That's basically how that works. But the lawyers are pretty good. A lot of them know the system. They know how it works. But it's up to the veteran and what medical evidence they have. If they don't have a very strong case, that's normally what happens. And, veterans get upset and they get frustrated and they want to blame everybody. But the thing of it is, you got to be objective. You got to step back and look at what you have and be objective. If I gave you 2 pieces of paper and I told you this is all I have, and you looked at it and went, okay, this is enough, or you're going to look at it and say, no, this is not enough. I need to see more.
Right. What are some of the programs or plans that veterans have as far as employment are concerned? If I'm a veteran and and maybe I may be just a regular veteran, no disability, and I come out of service, I'm trying to get me a job. Am I more marketable than a civilian? And does the government have anything that would put me ahead of somebody else when I'm trying to apply for a job?
Okay, so you have no service-connected disabilities, what you're saying,
right?
And you're just getting out of the military. right? And you want to know if there's a government program out there they could do like a mentorship or do like I don't know, a certificate program or something to try to help you, you know, get to what you want to do, basically.
Yeah, man, I'm broke. I just got out of the military. Only training I got is what the military. I was in the military to 18. This is just a scenario. I'm 18 years old. We're in the military 5 years. I come out of the military. I need a job, man. I got all I got in my bed. I'm not hurt or nothing, but I need a job. Can you help me? I'm a veteran. That's the situation.
Okay, well, now in 2020, it's totally different than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Now, as I mentioned before, they have stations that they go through now, where if they have a disability or if they don't have a disability, they have to write up a plan of what they're planning to do and take those steps to reach that plan. The majority of them are signed up for the GI Bill, so they can at least go to school on the GI Bill when they get out and figure out from that point what they want to do. It's not like it used to be where when they got out, they had no plan. You just got out and now you're out trying to search for a job.
That's how I was,
now,
like, straight on the street.
Yeah, now they actually have them go to these different stations and these different booths when they're getting ready to get out to make sure they got some kind of plan in place that ain't just walking out there lost. So it's totally different now than what it used to be.
All right, so if let's say I'm a current guy in the military, I'm getting out, I just got out. Before I got out, I went through several different stations asking me, what are your plans? What are you going to do? Do you going to do this? Do you have a job waiting? You have people that interview you station by station to figure out what you're going to do. Is that right? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. So when you get out, you already know, you already have mapped out a plan exactly what you're going to do. Okay. I got you. All right. That's some good information there, man. Really good information. What, in your opinion, what is the percentage of claims that are approved versus the percentage that are disapproved if for a disability claim?
My opinion on that is probably 70% denied, 30% approved.
Whoa.
On the initial claim. On the initial claim, I would say it's about 70-30.
Yeah. So your services are greatly needed to get that percentage down. Because
now I'm going to preface that though, Mr. Dix, by saying this: if you were in the last 10 years, that's going to be a flip flop because those guys file claims before they get out. So a lot of them already know what they're going to get before they get out.
All right. Right.
But the guys who have already been out, just now learning about the VA, right? Just now filing claims is more 70-30.
Okay. So pretty much before you get out, if you're going to file a claim, you got to do it right then. That makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense.
You're going to go through the whole process. A lot of times these guys already know what they're getting when they get out. They already know. Yeah.
Well, that's great. They have made a whole lot of good changes. Really, they really have. And I was like nothing, man. I was on my own. All right. Well, Markell, who else we got? One more. One more. Happiness, my message. Okay. Thank you, Happiness, for riding low train with Bobby E. Lisa D. Markell today. He said, happiness is my message. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. It's good to be happy. All right, Markell. Well, it's been great, man, having you. I'm going to get ready to close it out. I'm going to let you go today. Thank you so much, sir. And if we can set this date up for the end of the month, same day, same time, I appreciate it. Okay. Can we do that now? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you, Markell.
No
Peace
problem.
out. It's been great to have you. We will close it out. Thank you, sir. All right, guys. It's been great. It's been real. It's been real. We got to go. We got to go. We always want to highlight our veterans, man, because they have done this country well. Without our veterans, we would have no defense. Okay. Somebody have to step up. Somebody have to step up and pep up and bring up and show out for us when there's problems in this world. And who do we get to do that? Our veterans. They go all over the world representing you and me, and they are the best in the world. Our military men, they are the best in the world. When they get out of the service, they become veterans, and we need to treat them like they are the best in the world and don't turn our backs on them, because we should never forget what the service they have done to this country and how they are helping the people in America. What else we got? We got a couple more messages here. We got I heard I cannot be treated in the USA Embassy Hospital except for what? Okay, we already answered that. You might, if you have a disability, service-connected disability card, you can't be treated. Okay, you can't be treated. If you have a service-connected disability, you will be treated. Unless there's some situation that come up saying you can't be treated for particular, you will be treated. All right. In Manila. Oh, he answered that question. Go back, Carl. He already answered that question. You should be able to be treated if it's a service-connected disability. You should be able to be treated. Okay. 100% PT and moving to the Philippines. Okay, great. He's 100% happiness. I'm glad you're moving to the Philippines. I'm glad. I'm not saying glad you're 100%, but I'm glad that you got 100% of your disability, your claims, your benefits. You deserve it, sir. You deserve it, and I'm glad to hear you're moving to the Philippines as well. Who else we got? Ronald Love, Chamber, Bobby Lizzie. Should I worry about new doctor or old doctor won't refill one of my meds in America? Okay, happiness. As far as medication, when you come into the Veterans Administration, you just want to make sure you bring your prescription, your doctor prescription. And a lot of times, if you're a veteran, they have the link, the computers and so forth for the VA is linked to the one in the Manila is linked to the one wherever you're from. So you should be able to bring, they should be able to connect that medication that you would be taking in the States, wherever you're coming from, to where you're going to. But I would bring refills. If you already bring it, bring your refills. Bring your medicine, prescriptions, bring all of that with you. Bring an abundance of medication that you can get before you get here. And then when you get here, go to the VA, tell them, this is my record. Get a letter from your doctor, whether it's the private doctor or the VA doctor. Get a letter listing your prescriptions, listing your concerns, your medical conditions, and the requirements of the medication you need to have. Also, there's some forms, and I'll bring that on the next show. When you come to the Philippines and you have prescription, maybe the medication is narcotics or some type of other medication, you just can't come over here with that stuff like that when don't bring nothing to authenticate your medication, because you could be arrested. Okay, there's actually medical forms that you have to fill out, and you have to fill out those forms at least 3 to 4 weeks before you come, and bring that. They have to be signed. They have to be documented. Okay. You have to have that form with the medication you bring, because if you go through an airport or if you come in the Philippines, they got those dogs, they sniff out those narcotics, you under arrest. Unless you got something to prove that you have this prescription medication, it's going to be a problem. So just don't come over and bring your medication and if they're narcotics or amphetamines or whatever, they're prescription drugs, they're approved, but they're still amphetamines or narcotics. It's not good. Make sure you have your documentation. There's a required form. I don't have it right up, right? I can't pull it up. I just answered this question for another one of my subscribers. I'm going to pull up this information. I'll have it for you tomorrow as a subsequent response to your question. I have the forms, everything. So listening to tomorrow's show, I'll have those forms, the links for the forms, I have the forms on the screen, everything to show you. You can't bring your medication into the Philippines with nothing to prove that this is a legitimate prescribed drug. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, happiness. All right, guys, that's it for now. It's Bobby D saying take care. Oh, I forgot, I gotta close out. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me get this right real quick here. Close it out right. Close it out right. Oh, I gotta do this before I close it out. You know about Kobe. If those of you that don't know, Kobe Bryant left this world a few days ago, 41 years old. Outstanding athlete and American outstanding citizen of the world. And for the rest of this month, I'm going to be doing some tributes to Kobe. I did one yesterday. I got another tribute. It's pretty much the same one. I didn't have a chance to do it over, but I'm going to do this, bring it up for you here so you can see the tribute and you can understand some of the greatness of this young man. 41 years old. He had just started the second half of his life, and he was cut down. It was cut down short, and the whole world is grieving at this time. And this is my slight tribute to Kobe. Hold on. Let me get this out. Thank you so much, Kobe. We appreciate you. For those of you that are prayerful, please keep in mind this family needs prayer at this time. Not only did they lose Kobe, they lost their daughter, Gianna, as well. So we're going to close out the show today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to me and Markell, expert, talking about Veterans Affairs. Make sure you go ahead and sign up to this channel if you have not. Markell's TV. Okay, he supports this channel on a regular basis. One of my best supporters, and we support his channel as well. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get this up here. We're gonna close this thing out the right way, bye. Okay, we do everything, try to do everything the right way, man. We don't play no games. Okay, here we go. All right, guys, this is Bobby D saying, take care, God bless, and peace. Mamba out.